Feel like you can't lose weight even though you feel like you're doing everything right? Sam here, online health and fitness coach, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons you aren't losing weight even though you feel like you're doing everything right. And later in the video, I'm going to talk about the 6 reasons why or what actually does make weight loss harder. Alright, so reason number 1 is yo-yoing. Yo-yoing is when you cut calories really low on one day and then they spike way up on a different day. So this could look like during the week you are eating really low calories. Maybe you're hitting your low calorie target, 1200 calories, perfectly Monday through Thursday. Friday rolls around and it jumps up. And then Saturday and Sunday, since you already feel like you ruined your Friday, you're like, I might as well start again Monday. And then that number jumps way up for all 3 days on the weekend, and then Monday you drop back down to that really low calorie number. So that's kind of what the yo-yo dieting would look like while you're dieting and making you feel like you're doing everything right because those calories are so low, so you're working really hard all through the week, and it just feels like those couple days shouldn't negate all that hard work that you put in throughout the week, but it can. And when you do this, it can make it feel like you've been dieting for weeks and weeks and months with no progress to show for it. The second reason that you could be feeling like you're doing everything right but not losing weight is you are not counting or tracking your calories. This means that you don't actually know how many calories you're consuming, so you don't have all that literal data that you might need to see progress. And we oftentimes feel like because we're eating healthier choices, we are automatically going to lose weight. And healthier choices are always going to be a better option. Nutrient-dense foods are always going to be a better choice. But because the foods are healthier doesn't automatically mean we are going to lose weight, because weight loss comes through a calorie deficit. And when it comes to weight loss, it doesn't really matter where your calories are coming from. A calorie is a calorie no matter if it's from an apple or a donut. It doesn't matter. It's still a calorie. So you can still eat too many calories to lose weight even while eating a wonderful nutrient-filled diet. All right, number 3 is overestimating how many calories you burn during workouts. Oftentimes we really like to think workouts burn a ton of calories, and we really do tend to overestimate how much we're burning in one single workout. I see claims all the time like 6, 7, 8, up to 1,000 calories burned in a workout, and that's just not going to happen. Maybe if you're running 15, 20 miles in one day, yes, but most of us aren't doing that. Most of us are doing hour-long workouts, maybe even 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and we are definitely not burning hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calories during those workouts. That's not to say working out isn't important. It is super important, and it is super important for your fitness and for your health overall. I love working out, and I think everybody should work out, but just because it's good for you and because it's hard, that doesn't mean it's burning as many calories as you think. And oftentimes when we're like, ooh, I worked out, I deserve this extra treat, we think that because we worked out, we can fit in a lot of extra calories when that really isn't the case, because working out really doesn't burn as many calories as we wish it did. And there's nothing wrong with that it doesn't burn a ton of calories. That really shouldn't be the main focus of your workouts anyway. Working out should be to improve your fitness because you want to get stronger, because you want to get faster, not because you just want to burn as many calories as possible. Reason number 4 is that you are not tracking or measuring your portion sizes out. It is surprising how small a portion of cheese is, or a serving of peanut butter. Even if you're counting calories and you're thinking you're measuring stuff out, especially if you're using measuring cups or like hand portions or something like that, that can be vastly different than if you were actually to put it on a food scale. So the portions that you're eating could be much bigger, or you could just be off with how much you're actually eating and what you think you're eating. So that could just maybe be somewhere where it's not adding up. And this is especially true with calorie dense foods. So, like I said just a second ago, things like peanut butter, cheese, and other high fat foods. Oils is another big one, nuts. Anything that's a high fat food or calorie dense, having those portions be as correct as possible or on point as possible is going to be even more beneficial, because that's the biggest room for error. If you're off by just a little bit, that can be a lot more calories than you actually think it is. All right, last but not least is drinking a lot of your calories. Oftentimes we forget that drinks count. Stuff like energy drinks, the creamer you put in your coffee, the sugar if you're not using 0-calorie sweetener, milk, it's good for you, but those calories count. Juice, tea if you're drinking sweetened tea, really all of those drinks, everything counts. So the drinks that you have on the weekends, the couple beers that you had after work, all of those count. And sometimes we forget to really consider those when we're like, wow, I really feel like I'm hitting my calories, or I feel like I'm eating really healthy. I don't know why I'm not losing weight, even though I feel like I'm doing everything right. And those drinks just kind of go like right over our head, and we're like, oh, I didn't really think about those. So that can be a sneaky way, and also it can be a very easy way to cut back on calories if you haven't been thinking about that and you are drinking some high calorie drinks. Switching to diet pop, switching to unsweetened tea or an herbal tea, and switching to 0-calorie energy drinks. You don't have to get rid of everything, but you can totally make modifications, and that can add up very quickly, and that can very much be a very easy, I said very like 18 times, sorry. It can be a simple first change or first step that you can take to start with weight loss. All right, so we talked about how yo-yoing can make it feel like you're putting in a ton of work and that you've been working so hard and your diet just isn't working, but that yo-yoing on those 3 high days can just negate that whole rest of the week of being in that really low deficit where you feel like you're working so hard, but the average weekly calories are at your maintenance, or actually maybe even a little bit of a surplus. So looking at and being honest with yourself, how do your weekends look compared to your weekdays? And then we talked about how not tracking calories can make a big difference because you don't actually know how many calories you're consuming. And being in a calorie deficit is what is needed to lose weight. And if you don't quite know where your calories are at and you don't know how many you're consuming, it can be really hard to be in a deficit. Your body doesn't naturally want to be in a deficit, so it can be difficult to mindfully eat in a deficit, and that's where knowing your numbers can be extremely helpful. Third, we talked about overestimating how many calories you burn in a workout. Just think of it this way: you don't burn as many as you think you do. That's really it. Not measuring portions and drinking a lot of your calories. So it's important to have those portion measurements be accurate, especially if you're counting your calories. And even if you're not, that way you just start to learn what portions look like, especially with those calorie dense foods like peanut butter, cheese, and so on. And then making sure you're keeping your drinks in check and making sure that they're earning their keep. And if you are getting calories from your drinks, make sure that you're really enjoying those and really want them to be a part of your diet. Okay, so I said we were going to talk about six things that really do make it harder to lose weight. And there are things. Losing weight is hard. It's not something that's just super easy. Otherwise, nobody would be in the process of losing weight if it was really easy, because everyone would have already done it. So don't feel bad or don't feel weird or like something's wrong if it's proving difficult for you, because that's completely normal. It is difficult for everybody. So you're totally fine. But I'm going to give you 6 things that make it even harder to lose weight. Okay, so the first one is cutting your calories way too low. This is just not a great way to go about weight loss. It's awesome for losing weight really fast, but it's not awesome for maintaining that weight loss long term. And I'm going to assume most of you want to lose weight long term, not just lose it really fast just to gain it all back and do that over and over and over again. So cutting calories too quickly is going to make weight loss so much harder. One, you're gonna feel so much hungrier, and that's just not enjoyable. I mean, you're gonna be a little bit hungry no matter what when you're losing weight. There's just no way around that. But if you cut calories too much, you're gonna be really hungry. And what that does is that's gonna make you much more likely to continue that yo yo dieting cycle. You're going to be super hungry, you're going to restrict yourself, you're going to use willpower as much as you can, and then it's just not going to be enough. His battery's going to run out, and you are just going to binge and go crazy at night or on the weekends, and you are just going to continue that yo-yo dieting cycle. Also, when you cut calories, there's less food in your diet, and that gives you less room to include some of those fun foods that you enjoy. And there's no reason, if you are dieting just to lose weight and make it a lifestyle, that you should cut out all the foods you enjoy. There's no reason for that. Everything has a place in your diet in moderation if you enjoy it. So instead, what you should do is keep calories at a reasonable place. You should cut your calories the least amount you have to cut them and still see progress. So it's kind of like a game. How high can I keep my calories and still see progress? That's the game that you want to play when you're trying to lose weight that you want to keep off long term. All right. The second thing that makes it pretty hard to lose weight is not setting up your environment for success. When you don't set up your environment for success, you're making it really easy for that instant gratification monkey to take the wheel. If you have a bag of chips in the cupboard just sitting there, it's going to be much easier for that instant gratification monkey to be like, we should eat those chips, home dog. Like, those look good. And rational use, like, we probably shouldn't, but all weak and, not very assertive. And the instant gratification monkey's going to be like, we're doing it. And next thing you know, you've eaten the whole bag of chips. Going off of that, relying on willpower too much is not the name of the game. That is not what we want. We don't need your willpower to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger of willpowers. You just need to build an environment around you where you actually don't have to use willpower that much, especially at home. You are going to have to use it sometimes. I can't say that you're never going to have to use willpower because you can't control everything around you, but you can control what you have at home, and you can make it easier for yourself when you are there. When you don't set up your environment for success, you're also telling yourself that this is just temporary. This is not a lifestyle change. This is just a temporary diet that has an end date, so you can go back to normal afterward. And that is not how you set yourself up, and that is not how you achieve long-term weight loss success. And then just make sure everything in your home, in the space around you, helps you focus on your goal and really just supports you and is like, yes, you can do this. And it's not working actively against you. Number 3 is having a kitchen full of processed foods. Processed foods, their whole goal is for you to overeat them. That is why they're made. That's what the food scientists do, is they make a food so happy for your brain that it can't help but overeat it. So having a house full of highly processed foods goes back to the environment. You're not setting yourself up to be successful with your weight loss goals. And relying on heavily processed foods that are usually pretty calorie dense, but also they are not very filling. They're very low volume, high calorie foods, so they don't fill you up, and you can eat a lot of them because they don't fill your stomach up. So for that processed foods, instead, focus on adding in more minimally processed foods. So things like fruits and veggies, lean proteins, things that'll fill you up for fewer calories, but still satiate you and also nourish your body. All right, number 4 is using food as a way to cope with emotions. If you are using food to cope with emotions, that is going to make it almost impossible to lose weight. Now, you do not have to be perfect right when you're starting. Of course not. But this will be something that you need to work on and you need to practice as you go through your weight loss journey, because long term, using food as a way to not deal with your emotions is going to set you up for not being able to maintain that weight loss, even if you are able to achieve it in the first place. When you're using food as a way to deal with emotions, any emotion you feel or anything that happens in life is going to be an excuse to go off plan. You're stressed at work, you're feeling sad, you're feeling happy. All of these will be reasons you're like, oh, I deserve this. And it will just be a reason for that instant gratification monkey gives you to go off plan and not stick to what you really want long term. So, to combat this, what are some other ways that you can manage stress, that you can manage sadness, that you can manage being happy? Could you take a bath? Could you journal? Could you go for a walk instead when you're feeling stressed? Could you listen to music that will help calm you down? And when you're happy to celebrate, could you get in a good workout? Could you call your mom and tell her how excited you are? What are some different ways that you can deal with those emotions in a more positive and constructive manner? Another thing is, what can you do before you use food? So as you're learning to not use food as a distraction from emotion, what can you promise yourself you will do before you use food as a method of coping or dealing with those feelings? What could you do? Like, all right, before I make this decision about food, I will do this. So I will go for a 5-minute walk. And if I still want it after that, I can have that food. Or I will take a 15-minute shower, or I will journal for 3 minutes. What is something that you can do before you take that action? So it's like taking an action before taking another action to help start training yourself and training your brain that there are other ways to help deal with stress, sadness, and there are other ways to celebrate happiness. All right, number 5 is not sleeping well. When you aren't sleeping well, your adult reasoning skills plummet. It's very easy to let emotions and the instant gratification monkey start to make your decisions. When you're tired, you're just not going to make choices that are harder. You're going to make the choice that feels easy and more satisfying in the moment instead of really thinking about your long-term goals and considering how you will feel in an hour or the next day. So getting enough sleep all the time is important, but especially while trying to diet and lose weight and get into that new healthy lifestyle. A few ways to help yourself sleep better is have a bedtime and a time that you wake up, and make it a routine, make it a schedule, and even continue that at least close on the weekends. If you're someone that has trouble with sleep, having that routine is going to help. Your body will start getting used to it, and it'll start getting sleepy around bedtime, and you'll just kind of wake up more naturally. Cattail. Another thing is just having a bedtime routine, so your body's like, oh, wait a second, it is starting to get time for bed. I can tell because we're doing this, this, and this. So creating a bedtime routine, even if it's short, like brushing your teeth, washing your face, and then laying down in bed at a certain time, that's going to be super beneficial. And also, if you're very stressed and you feel like when you go to bed, you're feeling very anxious, have a de-stressing routine. Make that your bedtime routine. Maybe something like journaling, taking a bath, going for a short walk. Something like that can really help. Or try doing your workout earlier in the day. Sometimes this isn't going to be the same for everybody, of course, but sometimes your workouts can wake you up. And that's oftentimes what people do them in the morning because they give them like a good kick start to the day. So maybe your workout is just boosting your awakeness too much right before bed. So try maybe shifting your workout to the mornings if that feels like it could be what is making it kind of hard to fall asleep when you want to. All right, and number 6, this is the big one. Not believing that you can actually lose weight. If you don't believe that you can lose weight, you're not going to. You want to confirm the stories you're telling yourself about yourself, and you will do everything, even if it's subconsciously, to make those stories true. So if you are like, I'm just someone who can't lose weight, you will find every single way to make sure that that story is correct. And really, there's always a reason for self-sabotage. You have to just look at how and why that could be happening. But really, the thing is, we like to be right. So if we are telling ourselves we can't lose weight, or we can't do this, or we're too lazy, or we just don't like healthy food, all of that stuff is going to be true. So the biggest thing is you need to start shifting those stories that you tell yourself about yourself. You don't have to necessarily believe this wholeheartedly right away. You're not lying to yourself. But I want you to start thinking about the person that you want to be. You want to be somebody that's fit. You want to be somebody that's lean and healthy. So, where can you find moments in your life right now that prove that that is true? You are that type of person. Do you eat a veggie with all your meals? Do you get in a walk every day at work? Do you get your workouts in? Are you learning how to cook more healthy meals? Those are all things that prove you are that type of person. So start looking for those moments that confirm you are that type of person that you want to be. And then gradually, over time, naturally, you will truly start believing it with all of your heart. That is who you are. So I know it's going to feel funky at first, and that is okay. You don't have to just be like, I totally 100% believe this and I got this. But I want you to start thinking about who that person is that you want to become, and then start finding proof that you are that person or that you're becoming that person. And then also, in real time, start managing how you talk to yourself. So think about the last time you thought something nice about yourself or even said something nice about yourself. Probably doesn't happen very often. Usually, when you have thoughts come in like, oh, I'm just too lazy, self-correct. Be like, no, I'm busy, feeling tired, but I'm still going to get this done. Or if you're like, I just don't like vegetables, self-correct that. Think, I don't like this vegetable, but let's find a vegetable that I do like. So in real time, try to self-correct those thoughts and those stories that you're telling yourself, and they will start to change. And one extra little thing is choose your words carefully. So if you have to eat something, it's not very fun. But if you're choosing to eat something because you are eating it because it's going to help you reach your goals, it's much more satisfying to make that choice than it's just because you can't have that other thing. Or thinking you have to work out. Ugh, no, you get to work out. You get to move your body so you can start working toward that goal, so you can get stronger and so you can improve your fitness. It's just shifting those thoughts and framing them differently, even though it may seem just like semantics matter. They really do. They can really, there's emotion behind words, and emotions are what drive our action. So it's important to be aware of how you're making yourself feel with the words that you're using around your goal, around your health, and around your fitness. All right, so those are the big 5 reasons that you are not losing weight, even though you feel like you're doing everything right. And then we followed up with the 6 reasons, or the 6 things that can actually make it harder to lose weight. So just think about those first 5 and really look at what you're doing objectively and decide if maybe you're doing one of those things, and trying to think about how you can do just a little bit better moving forward. And then also look at the 6 things that really do make it harder. Is there anywhere that you could improve upon? Could you improve your environment, your surroundings? Could you start making sure that you're trying to be more positive when you talk to yourself? Could you up your calories? Or your calories just plain, are they just really way too low to maintain? Could you improve your sleep? And could you start figuring out other ways to handle and feel your emotions throughout the day? All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. In the comments, let me know if you are doing any of these, or if you've caught yourself doing one of these things, one of the 5, or if you're going to try and improve on one of those 6 things that actually does make it harder to lose weight. Give me a thumbs up, share the video if you liked it, and make sure you hit subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, peeps. Hey, guys! A-holes.